The creative leverage system moms use unconsciously. The coffee had gone cold again. Another morning balancing the noise of the house and the quiet question she kept avoiding. Can I really build something of my own? She wasn't chasing millions, just freedom. The kind that fits between nap times and school pickups. But something interesting was happening, something she didn't even realize yet. While the world was out there talking about productivity hacks and business frameworks, she was already practicing something far more valuable, something invisible, something creative. She called it survival. The business world would call it leverage. It started with a crayon drawing her daughter made, the kind that usually ends up in a drawer or recycled after a polite smile. But this time, she paused. She looked at it differently. Not as clutter, but as color, as possibility. What if she turned it into a greeting card? What if other parents felt the same way she did, wanting to preserve these fleeting moments without the guilt of keeping every scrap of paper? The idea didn't come from a business book, it came from the mess on her kitchen table. And that's the first principle of creative leverage. Inspiration lives in what you're already doing. Moms don't need to invent new problems to solve, they're surrounded by them. The art is in noticing. She opened her laptop during the baby's nap. 23 minutes, that's all she had. But she didn't waste time building a website or designing logos. She posted the card idea in a parenting group on social media. Just a simple photo. A question, would you buy this? 42 comments in 2 hours. Part of her still felt guilty for wanting more, as if ambition had to disappear when motherhood began. But the responses kept coming. And with each one, something shifted. Not in the world, in her. This is the second principle. Validation doesn't require permission, it requires conversation. Most people wait until everything is perfect before they test an idea. Moms don't have that luxury. They test while the pasta is boiling. They iterate between carpool and bedtime. And in that constraint, they stumble into something powerful: speed. Because creative leverage isn't about having more time, it's about using the edges of time differently. She started small, 5 cards, printed at a local shop, sold them to friends, made $40. It wasn't life-changing, but it was proof. Proof that the gap between idea and income could be shorter than she thought. Maybe success just wasn't meant for someone like her. That thought still came, usually around 3 in the morning when she couldn't sleep. When the inner voice got louder than logic, when she scrolled through Instagram and saw other people's highlight reels, the ones with clean studios and professional branding and time that seemed infinite. But then she remembered something her grandmother once said: you don't need a stage to matter, you just need to show up. And showing up, for her, looked different than it did for everyone else. It looked like voice memos recorded in the car, sketches drawn during soccer practice, ideas captured on napkins because that's what was within reach. The third principle of creative leverage: tools don't create value, clarity does. She didn't need a fancy camera or a business degree. She needed to know what problem she was solving and for whom. Everything else was just noise. What would you have done in her place? Because here's where most people stop. Right at the edge of momentum. Right when things start to feel real. The fear kicks in, not of failure, but of visibility. Of being seen, trying. Of admitting out loud that maybe, just maybe, this matters. She almost gave up until one message changed everything. A woman she'd never met sent her a photo. It was the card she'd bought, framed on a nursery wall. Beneath it, a caption: "Thank you for helping me see my daughter's art differently." She read it 3 times. And then she cried, not because it was dramatic, but because it was true. She had created something that mattered. Not to everyone, just to someone, and that someone was enough. This is the fourth principle. Impact scales through specificity, not universality. The instinct is always to go broader, to appeal to more people, to dilute the message so no one feels excluded. But creative leverage works in reverse. The narrower the focus, the deeper the connection. And deep connection is what turns customers into advocates. According to recent studies, small home-based businesses, led by women, are growing 40% faster than other segments, proof that clarity often beats capital. She didn't have investors, she didn't have a team. What she had was attention to detail and an understanding of her audience that no market research could buy, because she was her audience. She knew their mornings, their doubts, their desires, and so she leaned into that. She started creating card sets, birthday packs, thank you bundles. Each one told a story. Each one solved a tiny friction point in a busy parent's life. She wasn't selling cards, she was selling time saved and guilt relieved and memories honored. The fifth principle: people don't buy products, they buy feelings and outcomes. Her workspace was still her kitchen counter, but it no longer felt like chaos. It felt like possibility. Then came the doubt, the kind that whispers louder than failure, because growth is never linear. Some weeks she'd get 10 orders, other weeks, none. She'd compare herself to people who seemed to have it all figured out. She'd wonder if she was delusional for thinking this could work. Sometimes growth doesn't look like progress, it looks like staying. Staying when it's easier to quit. Staying when the numbers don't make sense yet. Staying because the alternative, going back to that cold coffee and unanswered question, felt worse than the uncertainty of moving forward. And in that staying, something unexpected happened. She got better, not perfect, just better. Her photos improved. Her messaging sharpened. Her process became more efficient. Not because she took a course, but because repetition is the most underrated teacher. This is the sixth principle. Consistency compounds in ways motivation never will. Motivation is emotional. It comes and goes. Consistency is operational. It shows up even when you don't feel like it. And over time, the gap between effort and results starts to close. She smiled not because it was easy, but because it was finally hers. 6 months in, she hit $1,000 in monthly revenue. Not enough to quit anything, but enough to prove the concept. Enough to stop asking if and start asking how. How could she scale without losing the personal touch? How could she manage inventory without a garage full of boxers? How could she market without feeling like she was shouting into the void? The seventh principle. Creative leverage thrives on constraints. Because constraints force innovation. They eliminate the noise. They make you choose what matters most. And in choosing, you find your edge. She partnered with a local artist, someone who could help her expand the designs without compromising the aesthetic. She set up a simple online shop. Nothing fancy, just functional. And she started sharing the behind-the-scenes process on social media, not as marketing, but as documentation. People loved it. Not because it was polished, but because it was honest. And honesty, it turns out, is the rarest commodity in a world obsessed with curation. What helped her the most wasn't just Canva Pro, it was realizing that she didn't need permission to start small. She tested a few tools before finding what truly worked, and honestly, it changed everything. This isn't a promotion, just something that made her path a little lighter. She'll leave the link below if you want to explore it. But the real shift wasn't external, it was internal. It was the moment she stopped apologizing for her ambition. Stopped shrinking her dreams to fit other people's expectations. Stopped waiting for the perfect time that never comes. The eighth principle. Creative leverage begins when you stop negotiating with your own potential. Because here's the truth, no one talks about the biggest barrier isn't time or money or knowledge, it's permission. The permission we wait for from partners, from society, from some invisible authority that never actually grants it. The only permission that matters is the one you give yourself. She started mentoring other moms. Not formally, just conversations over text. Tips shared in comments. Encouragement given freely because she remembered what it felt like to be at the beginning. To feel invisible. To wonder if any of this was worth it. And in helping others, she discovered the ninth principle. Teaching clarifies thinking. Every time she explained her process, she understood it better. Every time she answered a question, she refined her own strategy. The act of giving back wasn't just generous, it was strategic. It deepened her expertise and expanded her network in ways she never anticipated. Disclaimer: this content is for educational purposes only and does not replace consultation or assistance from a professional. Always consult a qualified professional for any questions related to finance, business, or investments. 1 year in, she had a decision to make. The business was generating enough income to matter. Not enough to replace a full-time job, but enough to change the math. Enough to shift what was possible. She could stay small and sustainable, or she could take a risk and grow. Neither choice was wrong, but both required honesty about what she actually wanted, not what she thought she should want. And that's the 10th principle. Creative leverage demands because growth for growth's sake is exhausting. It's the fastest path to burnout. But growth aligned with values. That's fuel, that's renewable. That's the difference between building a business and building a life. She chose sustainability. Not because she lacked ambition, but because she had clarity. She wanted a business that supported her family, not one that consumed it. She wanted creative freedom, not just financial freedom. And in that choice, she found peace. Her mornings changed, not dramatically. She still made breakfast, still packed lunches, still managed the beautiful chaos of family life. But now, woven into that chaos, was something else. Something that belonged to her. A thread of purpose that didn't require anyone's approval. When she poured her coffee the next morning, it was still hot, because this time, she wasn't rushing, she was building. Building slowly. Building intentionally. Building in a way that honored both her roles as a mother and as a creator. Not in competition, but in collaboration. Because the creative leverage system moms use unconsciously isn't about doing more, it's about seeing differently. It's about recognizing that the skills required to run a household organization, multitasking, emotional intelligence, resourcefulness, are the exact same skills required to run a business. The world just calls them different names. Tell us what part of her story resonated with you most, and where you're watching from. Your journey might just inspire the next one. Tell us which country or city you're watching from. See you in the next video.